Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday. The channel is Shelly's Millions, and we talk about finance, budget, money. I also normally tell you what the top 10 movies are because my regular job is I work at a movie theater. Happy Labor Day. I hope everybody is out there staying nice and cool because it has been really hot this weekend. Just a reminder that your local movie theater, if you're able to go, has great air conditioning. And most movie theaters have really great deals on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Um, I think it's to drive, people to try and go to the movies on days when maybe we wouldn't. Like weekdays are always slower, so you're gonna have the place more to yourself and at a better deal. So that's kind of a cool little money saving trip on the movies. Also, most movie theaters are going to have some sort of loyalty program. If it's free to join, then I'm going to recommend joining your local um, movie frequent movie going program. Okay, so what did I want to talk about today? Let's you guys let me know what you want to talk about today, and I'm going to pull up the movie numbers. I know that my mom recently, every morning on Sundays, I I never feel like waking up and doing YouTube. I always, 100% of the time, 99% of the time. Sometimes there's a topic that I'm really excited to share with you guys. But a lot of times I wake up and I'm not excited to do YouTube. I'm tired. And it's because I always close at the movie theater on Saturday nights. So my sleep's a little bit wonky, but I do it to keep the commitment that I made to myself. These lives do not make very much money, but I'm not doing it for the money. I enjoy getting on and talking with you guys. So once I'm on, I really enjoy being on. It's just sometimes that motivation, and it's the same kind of motivation that someone like me needs to like get up and go to the gym. Good morning, Cindy. It's the same kind of motivation to like clean and organize your room. It's the same kind of motivation just to kind of do like to not break a promise that I've made to myself and that I've made you guys help me keep myself accountable because I've also made the promise to you guys that we go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. So if I break that, not only am I breaking a promise that I've made to myself, but I'm breaking a promise that I've made to you guys. And I don't want to be the type of person that breaks my promises. So while most mornings I do wake up and I'm tired and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm doing it so that I don't break promises that I've made to myself. And having you guys be there with me helps hold me accountable. I don't always know what I'm going to talk about. And that's the case today, but sometimes these are some of the best lives that we have. So, thank you guys for tuning in. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, finance or budget wise, just let me know in the comments. I have some receipts that I need to turn in to Fetch. Fetch is a money saving app. It's not exactly a money saving app. You scan your receipts and you get points, and I've already made $50 from it um, that I used to get a CVS gift card, which paid for like a bunch of toilet paper and deodorant and toothpaste and things that like are necessities. So, and the cool thing that I like about Fetch is you can do any receipt. You don't have to do like you don't have to load it with some like weird item that you weren't going to buy. Cindy said I was motivated to do yard work, cutting out saplings. Yeah, like sometimes you wake up, sometimes, and you just don't feel like doing it. But I really think that it's important. Like, I read a lot of motivational books or I listen to them on Audible, and it's important that you do the things that you tell yourself you're going to do. So if you tell yourself, that you're gonna wake up and run a mile, it's important to keep that promise. That is not a promise that I make to myself. I know that I'm not gonna do that. Um, but it's about like learning to trust yourself and to rely on yourself and to know that your word is good, you know? So, um, really, maybe we could we're going to look at the numbers to what the movies did, because we always do. Then maybe we'll dive into my YouTube earnings. And spoiler alert, it's about $50 a month. And most of it is on older videos. It's not on the lives. And that's okay. Because again, I'm not doing it for the money from the lives. I'm doing it to make sure that I hold my commitment to myself. And, you know, it's kind of like getting your foot out the door when you're trying to exercise, or just going outside and like maybe cutting out a few saplings, right? Once you get going, it's easier to keep going. So, you guys aren't forcing me to be here. So once I get on, we normally go live for about an hour, but there's nothing that says that we have to. But keeping promises to yourself is important. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because I know my mom's watching and I know she doesn't always understand why I do this. Yeah, and Scattershot 8 is a casual YouTuber, not monetized. It's kind of answering surveys when I feel like it. Free work for the marketing departments. Yeah. Um, are you actually answering surveys? And if you are, what program are you using? Okay. Cindy says, wait until you're older. You make plans for chores to do in a week. Then old age aches and pains sets in. Let's talk about my health real quick. If you guys don't ever want me to talk about like personal stuff, let me know. But I feel like that's like what brings us close as a community. I was supposed to have surgery on my thumb and my middle finger. My middle finger doesn't close all the way. My thumb right now does, but it's only because I have a cortisone shot in there. And right now, there's no pain. I was supposed to have surgery and it's postponed for right now. Partially because I was pretty scared, but then also like my surgeon was like, well, if you're not having pain right now, like there's no reason to force it. So I'm not having surgery on my thumb or my middle finger, but it's still going to eventually need it. And then in October, I'm going on a trip, and I'm a little bit nervous that like the timing on that the cortisone shot like might wear off right when I'm traveling. Okay, Richard says, I had a Swagbucks account. I made nothing after a year, so I closed it out. Yeah, some of these programs are hard to make money. That's kind of why I'm enjoying Fetch. It's a cool program. You just take pictures of receipts. It can be anywhere. Like um it can be like Taco Bell on my way home from work. It can be gas. It can literally be anything. So I like that. No. And then Scattershot says, no, the surveys you get when you buy a product, very rare to get compensated. The corporate overloads have trained us well. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. And okay. I was last looking at flights. I'm still trying to do the credit card point hacking things. I was able to get upgraded tickets to Ireland for myself and my friend at very low points. I actually think that they made a mistake. I'm flying on Aer Lingus. It was supposed to be 46,000 points to upgrade, I thought, for just one ticket, but they charged that amount and they upgraded both tickets. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited that they made a clerical error. Okay. So I was last looking on United trying to find a really good flight. So I'm going to show that tab really quick while I look at the numbers. Okay. I'm going to change it here. Okay. And guys, let me know. There's a series on TikTok that I like called How Long Does It Actually Take? And it's about procrastinating and like getting things done that you're meaning to get done. Okay. So I need to look at the numbers. Okay, let's see here. All right. See the full weekend chart. Okay, so Weapons is the top movie this weekend. I have not seen it. Hi, Steve. DMSO is what you use to reduce swelling and lower pain. Okay, what is that? Anyway, I think my point in sharing about my hand is that, like, I'm starting to feel old in my lower back and my knees, and I've got plantar fasciitis is new to me this year. Like, it's no fun. And I'm certainly wanting to, like, do things like travel more before the old age sets in even more. Okay. So the number one movie this weekend was Weapons. It's supposed to be a horror film. I have to read you what my friend said about it. Hold on. He said, I don't, if he used cuss words, I'm not going to be able to say it, but oh, he used several cuss words. He said, Weapons is a blank, blank, crazy movie. And I said, in a good way, question mark. He said, it was great. And I said, I'm too scared to watch it, but I want to watch it. And he says, it's not that scary at all. So they're billing it as a horror movie, but that's kind of the movie review that everybody that I know has given it, is that it's not actually horror and that it's really good. Anyway, then there was a Jaws re-release. That's the number 2 movie. A movie called Caught Stealing is the number 3 movie. That's a Darren Aronofsky film. He did Requiem for a Dream and Go, and I generally like him as a director. He's not always, it's getting mixed reviews, and I think that's because some of, his films are controversial. Freakier Friday, that's kind of like the type of movie that I see with my mom, and I have seen that one. The Roses is coming in at number 5. That's a remake on The War of the Roses. Oh, this is interesting. I don't think that's been in the top 10 in the last few weeks, but The Fantastic Four First Steps is number 6. Bad Guys 2 is number 7. Superman, number 8. I didn't care for Superman. Nobody 2 is number 9. And then The Naked Gun, which I've also heard is really good, that is number 10. Okay. Okay, so Richard, that's the Austin Butler movie. That's the one called Caught Stealing, and that's by Darren Aronofsky, and I do really like his movies. Let me just, but they're weird. They're kind of weird. Hold on one second. Darren, oops. Darren Aronofsky. Okay. He's still pretty young, 56. Okay, oh yeah, okay, so, oh, Black Swan was his. I forgot about that one. Caught Stealing, that's the new one. Requiem for a Dream. I did love Black Swan. Requiem for a Dream, I haven't seen The Whale. I've heard that's really good. Mother was one that was kind of polarizing to people. I did like Pi. Oops, uh-oh. Oh, no. Uh-oh, I might have to go to work. Okay, well, hang on one second, guys. Oh, no. Hang on. An important work text. Cindy, last week you're on vacation. Oh, I noticed that you weren't in here last week. Last week you were on vacation, but you were responsible for taking frozen dinners that you pre-made. You made the meals for a special diet, but helps to relax in the evening. Yeah, it does. I want to get back into, okay, anyway, I like Darren Aronofsky as a director. And he's the one that did Caught Stealing. But if you're not familiar with his work, some of them can be a little bit like, I don't know. Not everybody likes them. Okay. Cindy, what special diet are you on? I'm wanting to do like an anti-inflammatory diet because that's supposed to help with things like my hand. But it seems like it's all just fruits and vegetables. So, like, what do you eat as the main meal? Scattershot 8 can't wait for the Downton Abbey movie to come out. Yeah, that one's coming out really soon. Okay, hold on. Let me read my work text, and I'm gonna just read it to you. And this person has done a few favors for me, so if they're asking me for a favor, I need to do it. Okay, the power went out in his neighborhood at 7 a.m. I don't think I'm going to have any power to open the garage to our building. The hallways are pitch black, and I have to leave in the dark. I might need to take an Uber and bring the few cold stuff I have from my fridge to work, if that's okay. Oh, yeah, we don't want his stuff in his fridge to go bad, so we're going to allow that. We're going to use a fridge upstairs that is not for the customers because that's not okay. But we do have like a staff fridge. But of course, we don't want his. I'm gonna also tell him that I'll reimburse him for the Uber. That's so weird. Who that's so crazy. Like that the parking gate, I never thought about that like if you're in an apartment and your parking gate is electric that you might not be able to get out. That can't be, right? There has to be like an emergency manual release on the parking gate, but whatever. I'll offer to reimburse his Uber. And I'm glad that he's not asking me to go in because I don't live as close. I'm not dressed for work right now either. Got on like a t-shirt. It's not my sleep t-shirt, but yeah. Speaking of work, I was just about to say that Richard, so most people here in California, like I don't have a generator either. Um, and I don't know if I should get one. So like a power outage from 7 a.m., that's pretty long. Like they do rolling blackouts here in California, where they purposefully take down like city blocks at a time because like when it's hot like this, people are using their air conditioning too much. It's too much of a strain on the power system. But for the most part, people don't have generators here in California. Cindy says her husband is on a low sodium diet. You've heard sugar is the main ingredient for inflammation. Any diet takes time to make since they need to be made from scratch. Yeah. Um, I have high blood pressure, so I should probably be eating low sodium. I I love salty foods like cheese, and cheese has a lot of sodium. So I'm like a salty, savory person. And all of those foods are really high sodium. Also processed foods. So things like, for me in inflammation, I like Cheez-Its, right? I like Cheez-Its, but that's not really it's certainly not healthy food. Even if you eat, calorically like a small package or whatever, it's just not it's really processed, and processed food can really make inflammation bad. I also like those little Pepperidge Farm goldfish. Again, high in sodium, really ultra processed food that's just not good for you. You know what I should do is like make some French fries, which I like to bake French like potato. I like to cut them into French fry shapes, wedges maybe, and then put them in the oven and bake them, and I think that's supposed to be better for you. At least it's not processed, right? At least it's like I cut the potato, I put some salt on it, and I popped it in the oven. Um, so yeah, I should do that. But what I was about to say with the working is right now, actually this week I've had 0 days off. Thursday was supposed to be my day off, but if you guys were on last week, you heard me complain about my car. Um, it I had to take it to the dealership and they did something to my emergency brake where it was only raising like this much. It wasn't clicking. And before I would say like it used to raise like that much at least. Like you gave it a good pull. Rant. It made like a little noise. Apparently, rant is my interpretation of it. So, but they gave it back and it was like bleep. I don't know. It was bothering me, so I had to take it back. And then I also had to do a work conference call. And then I had some work left over from Wednesday night that I didn't finish. So I had to go back to work on Thursday. So I've had 0 days off this week. Usually Sunday and Thursday are my day off. Thursday I did car repairs and conference calls and unfinished projects. And then we've just been short staffed right now. So I'll be working tonight and then tomorrow. Um, Tomorrow, I'll be working a double on the holiday. So that's fun. I'm doing that by choice because the person that's like having trouble getting in, he's got other things going on. And I'm trying to keep everybody sane. And Mondays, even though it's a holiday, it's usually a pretty short day. We don't have a late set of movies. Anyway, I'm babbling this week. And recently, I have not had very many days off. It's been like that where I only have about 1 day off for the last few weeks. Um, so it's definitely harder to like do all the cooking and food prep and things like that. That's also part of why I'm postponing my surgery. Like, I feel like when you go have surgery, you should be, like, relaxed and, like, oh, I don't know, not closing on Sunday and turning around and working a double on a holiday Monday, like, leading into your surgery. That's not good, so I postponed it. I'm waiting till we have a little bit more help also and till it hurts again. But yeah, food prep. I'm wanting to do more of that because my mom also is like, "You don't eat very many vegetables," and I think she's right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. What else did I say I was gonna look at? I do not have a generator. My coworker doesn't have a generator. I did maybe wanna talk about insurance again today because I saw an article about that. And then, it's just been a while since I've shared my YouTube earnings, so I think maybe I'm gonna share that with you guys. Okay. Let's channel content. Let's look at that. It's been so long. Okay, so these are all my older videos, but let's look at some of the lives. Let's look at not last week's live, but let's look at this one. And this is going to be one of the better paid ones when we're talking about like the American Workers Rebate Act. Oh, we could change the thumbnail. Should we change the thumbnail? Nah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's look at monetization on this video. Oops. Discard changes. Okay, we'll discard the changes. Nope. Okay, analytics. It's been so long since I've even looked because again, okay, so the video that I made 2 weeks ago made 67 cents. So we're not doing it for the money. We're doing it to keep the commitment. Okay, then let's see here. Let's look at just analytics for the channel and see how it's doing. So I'm losing subscribers. That's from the height of the pandemic when I was talking about unemployment. That's okay. $54.35 for old videos. That's not bad. But the tricky part is we're not making much money on the new content on the lives. Let's look at this video. I made a video. It was mostly for me because I needed to remember how to set up my pool. And this is just kind of cool because, like, when did we make this? Where does it says somewhere. But the total money is $66.88. And that's because this is a video that I have used to remember how to set up my pool. So it's just kind of cool that you can make a how-to video for yourself and make a little bit of money off of it. And every year it makes a little bit of money, even if I don't do anything new to it. I haven't changed anything about that video. I still reference it when I'm putting back together my above ground pool. I know one of the most popular videos is with my mom. And it was what she spends in a month. This was from before she moved in with me. So if we look at this one, and that revenue, it's made in its lifetime $502. So that's not bad at all. So yeah, we love that. But it's a lot of these videos where it's making money from from a while ago. I would really like to update that video with my mom, but she's not interested in doing that. Oh no, I just realized I'm not sharing anything. Oh no. Okay. There's the page. Sorry, I thought I was sharing my screen with you guys. Okay. About the food prepping, you have to read the label and eventually you'll know what items to buy. A store may have 10 of the same items, but salt content can vary a lot. You can make Mexican dishes, but with reduced salt. Richard says, "The future of Social Security is making me nervous, the uncertainty." I'll share something with that with you in that. And then Steve said, speaking my language here, "You started making fermented dill pickles and cabbage, sauerkraut. I don't have enough probiotics in my diet." Okay, so Katie wants to know if I think they're going to extend unemployment because of the layoffs. I don't. So there are specific rules kind of set into place where the unemployment level has to reach a certain percentage. Um, it's abbreviated HUP, the HUP, high unemployment percentage, maybe. I'm gonna Google that we'll Google it live. Um, when does the EDD extend unemployment benefits? And then I'm going to take a sip of coffee. If you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to like the video. I'm going to use the AI overview, but with that said, sometimes it's wrong, especially when it's getting into like the details of the program. Okay. So this is saying through the training extension, that's not right. Provides additional weeks of benefits to claimants. I don't think that's actually correct. Federal extensions, that's Fed Ed or Fed ED. The federal state extended duration Fed Ed program previously offered up to 20 weeks of benefits during high unemployment periods, but it's no longer available. So what triggers extended unemployment benefits? That's not the answer. Up to 13 weeks of additional benefits are provided if the claimant was laid off from his main base period employer and that employer had employed the layoff. Nope. Sorry. Training extension, extended benefits, benefit year end. Either way, it has to get triggered by a certain level of unemployment. Okay, when does Fed Ed kick in? Let's look at that. When does Fed Ed extend unemployment benefit? Because there's a certain number that it has to hit. So federal state extended duration program is not currently active. It provided extended unemployment benefits during periods of high unemployment, but it ended in February 2021. With no further federal unemployment extensions since then, Fed Ed was it's automatically activated in California when the state's insured unemployment rate, the IUR, reached specific high thresholds. It's triggered by each state. Either way, it's really, really high. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Sorry. It's been a minute since I've looked at this. Okay. That's pandemic unemployment. Fed Ed extension page. Come on. It's basically it's a really high unemployment rate, and I don't think we're there yet. What does the unemployment rate need to be in CA for benefits to be extended? Oh boy. It's really hard to find that information. If you come back next week, I'll look that up and I'll have it handy. To qualify for a training extension. That's not it though. So there is a number though where it automatically kicks in. I know. So the job, you guys, do you want to talk about the job market for a little bit? The job market's really, really, really bad. Um, so Cindy, what I'm seeing is, and I just watched a TikTok before coming on about like this girl, and she was like crying because she's like, my rent's due. I need, $2,000 to make it. And I'm applying for jobs and I'm going on interviews, but they're not actually hiring and the jobs don't actually seem to exist. So that's one thing that I'm seeing. KT says layoffs every day on the news. FedEx and hospitals and nursing homes are laying off because of Medicaid cuts. Let's Google that really quick. Um, Half of the government is laid off. They are laying off a lot of the government. Their programs are being downsized. Like last year, I remember we were talking about Family Dollar closing. We were talking about um, Big Lots closing. We were talking about the 99-cent stores closing. I just read that, let's look at other chains that are doing. Also, Richard says, make sure you're registered to vote and then go and vote when elections arrive next year. Your local casino laid off 100 people. Like that's 100 jobs that's a lot of jobs. And casinos are supposed to like have large staffs, right? So um I think when someone gets laid off right now, it's taking a lot longer to find a job, and then people aren't necessarily making at all what they were making before they were laid off. So I had a friend, she also worked at movie theaters. The chain that she worked for, her building closed. They lost the lease. Um, the person that owns the land that the place was on. Oh, KT, yeah, please be careful with that. And also, KT's saying that some of those jobs on Indeed are fake and scammers. They sure are. I'm sure I've deleted it, but they're getting really bad also with scams that are coming like right to your phone. And it's like, we have remote opportunities for you. Never click those. Don't click those. And it's so sad. So my friend that was looking for work, she was at like $28 an hour, and now she's making $20 an hour. So that's a huge loss. Like, luckily, she has a partner who's able to kind of subsidize um, her income, but the parking is not, or the partner's not like rich herself. So they're struggling. AI is causing some of these layoffs. Yeah, absolutely. And the other day when I called for my car insurance appointment, not my car insurance appointment, my car repair appointment, AI totally made the appointment. So that's a job, that's an entry-level customer service job that someone like me, I would definitely like be interested in talking to people and helping them set up their service appointments. But now it's just done by AI. And you know what's so annoying is like it the AI made like fake typing noises. It was really bizarre, but you could at the same time you could tell it wasn't really typing, 'cause it's not really a person, it's just AI. But I don't know who decided like, "Oh, we should make the AI make these noises as if it were human." That to me is bizarre. Okay. Cindy says the worker shortage in the construction was bad a couple of years ago. Now the worker shortage is better in Indiana. You're retired, but that comes from your husband. Yeah, and I think, getting into the trades is really good. Plumbers make really good money. Now, is it gonna be icky? 100%. But you know what? Sometimes you just need to like change someone's shower head. So sometimes it's going to be like really, really gross. And sometimes it's going to be something really simple and you're just dealing with clean water. And you know what? They're going to give you protective shoes and protective gear and things like that. So plumbers, air conditioning repair people, so HVAC systems, heating and air, construction, like building houses, constructing new buildings, um, what else? Electricians, hospitals. Let's look at this. So we were talking the other day, and I'm just going to say again, I think hospitals are so, not hospitals, maybe hospitals, but whoever is approving, when I go to my doctor's appointment and I have to pay $15 for parking, I just think that's so sad. Like, who, unless maybe you're having a baby, or elective cosmetic surgery, right? You're not happy about being at the doctor. You're not like, "Oh, great, I'm going to the doctor." And then you've got like a $15 copay. And then now you're also paying, oh my goodness, we're going to look at this article right now, KT. And I'm sorry if you're being affected by these layoffs and finding work. It really stinks. Um, but yeah, you guys right now, if you have a job, this is advice that my mom gave me even when I was little. But if you don't quit your job until you have a good job lined up. All right. Well, Richard, hopefully, but are they actually, do they need workers, but are they hiring them? That's the thing. A lot of these places, like I'm sure Children's Hospital needs nurses and doctors, right? But if they don't have the budget to actually pay them, like their nurses and doctors are not going to go there and work for free. So that's the thing. Sometimes you can go into a business and you can tell that they're short staffed. You go into a fast food place and you can tell that they need people to like work and help, and the line is long, and you can see, you can visibly see that they need help. But are they approved to hire more people? You know, that's the tricky piece, right? Okay. Children's Hospital Los Angeles layoffs. Children's Hospital Los Angeles layoffs. Oh, this is for Texas. Okay, this was in, okay, so we pulled up one for Texas, but I mean, this is like, it's showing that it's not just like a problem here in California. Texas Children's Hospital laid off 5% of its workforce, or about 1,000 jobs last year. So, literally a year ago, due to financial changes and lower patient volumes. Both clinical and non-clinical positions were affected, with impacts seen in departments like nursing, therapy, and urgent care. The hospital stated the layoffs should not impact patient care, though some families and employees expressed concern about consequences for their care and work. Richard, I also said I would make a comment about Social Security, so I'm going to do that right now. And that's just to say that the program may not pay out at as much as it currently is. I don't think they'll cut people that are already receiving it, but I do think, like, as I near retirement age in 20 more years, um, I think that my benefits might not be as much because the program doesn't have as much to pay. But it's not like they're gonna give people 0, right? So that makes me feel a little bit better. Okay, let me find the Los Angeles one, not Texas. Oops. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yep. You're 100% right. Is there an NBC? All right. We'll just go with the first one. This is an ABC article, the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. KT says the Children's Hospital is laying off 253 employees, with another 186 being offered other roles at the hospital. And it's about 5.8% of the hospital's staff will be affected. I'm like, that's just so sad. Okay, but I'm also going to share something else. Okay, after Steve says about his trades, you worked maintenance in a factory for $27 an hour, and they said they pay $35 an hour now, and they still can't find help. Is that something, oh, so you definitely need to be trained, right, to do maintenance in a factory. Like, I couldn't just go in right now with my skill set and do that. I'm also gonna say, oh, yeah, we said electricians, HVAC workers, plumbers, construction workers, right? Those are the 4 big ones. Did I leave any out? But those jobs are always, always, always going to be needed. My thing is, I'm afraid of heights and kind of like ladders. I'm heavy. I don't feel like I should be up on a lot of these ladders, but I'm nervous about that. So, but like also like, oh, like LA, the Department of Water and Power, You always see people out there like the people like the AT&T doing the fiber connection and the Wi-Fi and all that stuff, putting in the connections. I'm afraid of ladders though. Like I can't go up and repair telephone poles or anything like that. Um, so that limits me. Okay. So for the Children's Hospital, they're laying off 250 workers amid growing financial challenges and hospital restructuring, which is usually a code for budget cuts. The affected employees, including staffing and management support and administration services and clinical care, were notified Wednesday that their roles will end October 28th. An additional 186 team members impacted by the reduction will be offered the option to transfer to adjusted roles resulting from the hospital-wide restructuring. So, and usually, just going to say it, usually that kind of like restructuring means that those 186 people that are going to be offered the opportunity to take the restructured positions are just now doing the work of the 253 people that they let go, which that is really, really tough, right? That's why people are getting burnt out. Like there's supposed to be work-life balance, although like I don't see it. But I think it's really sad when we're getting to a point where hospitals are laying people off because those workers are really needed. Now, with that said, I've been taking my mom to her doctor's appointments recently, right? And there's two ladies that work at this one front desk. One of them seems good at her job. The other one does not. For example, like, and sometimes you just miss a package, but like this woman like went and looked for a package and she looked for it like 15 times and like couldn't find it. And then they were about to do all this other stuff. They asked us, they're like, "Are you sure you didn't pick it up?" Like, "Yes, I'm sure I didn't pick it up already." But um she finally found it. And then like when she's setting up appointments, like just to set up the appointment, it seems like she does not know how to use her computer system. And we've been there several times now. So, and the other lady, I don't know. I'm just imagining, I guess. But the other lady seems to know that the one lady's not that good and she's like not helping her. But I honestly, I feel like we could eliminate one of those two ladies' jobs and the other one would be able to do it just fine. And then I picked up my friend from the hospital this past Friday. They have a volunteer in there at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. Like, I was asking her a question, she's like, "Oh, I'm just a volunteer." But she was like she had a desk, and, like, on the one hand, I'm like, "Oh, maybe my mom would like to, like, help people get checked in and get settled." But, like, seriously, like, I feel like that should be a paid position. She had an access and a little badge to, like, bring me back into, like, the operating resting room. I don't know. It seems like and sometimes some volunteers are paid, but, like, I don't but we're gonna Google that in a second. Okay. Katie says, "I believe we're in a recession," and they're lying about the unemployment numbers. They definitely lag. And then there's also, like so this is how they do it, right? They literally call and they do a survey. Now, first of all, my friend says because of things like the scams, my friend is like, if you're answering your phone in 2025 and you do not know who's calling, like you're asking to get scammed or taken advantage from. So like be careful and don't answer the phone if you don't recognize the call. Just like let it go to voicemail, right? Yeah. Steve says, "I retired at 62. I could not see myself on a ladder at 67." Yeah, like there are just sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest, like I'm 48. Okay. Um, a lot of times at the movie theater, I'm on my feet for hours on end. I'm scooping popcorn. Sometimes my hand bothers me for scooping popcorn. Or I feel like I can't hold the thing right, right? Also, they said that like counting money may be what caused my hand to hurt and not work right. But anyway, Um, so I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do my job in 5 years. Like, standing on your feet, like, it's painful. Like, lifting the bags of popcorn seed, they're not light. Ooh, and soda bibs, soda has a lot of sugar in it. They're really heavy. Like, I'm not sure how much longer I've got. I'm definitely more aware that I'm not as young as I once was, you know what I mean? Okay. So, KT, there's definitely so they do like a phone survey and they call and they say things like, "Hi, are you looking for work?" Right? So, if they were to call my friend who was making $28 an hour and is now making 20, she's not looking for work anymore because she has a job and she likes the job, but she is what they consider underemployed. And so it's not catching people that are making a lot less than they once were. It also, like, let's say that you were working 40 hours a week and now you're only working 30. It's not catching that kind of data. And certainly I'm seeing just with my friends who are out of work, it's taking a lot longer and the pay is not as good as it was at their previous job. Like, it seems really, really hard right now. So yeah, it's definitely not capturing the data accurately. Okay, let's see. What did I just say I was going to look at? Businesses closing in 2025. Also, I'm starting to see the effects of tariffs. I'm not sure if this is due to the tariffs, but we sell Topo Chico, which is bottled in Mexico, and we're having trouble getting it right now. And I don't know if that's from the tariffs. I don't know if they just didn't order enough. Okay. Okay. These are major retail closures and bankruptcies in 2025. I'm the worst because I'm just using the AI overview also. Rite Aid, Joanne Fabrics, Big Lots. I thought they were already closing. Macy's is closing more stores. CVS has a plan to close over 900 stores, and they're closing um, 270 in 2025. Walgreens, so that's like a lot of drugstores. Liberated Brands. I was like, I haven't heard of this, but it's the company that owns brands like Volcom, Billabong, and Roxy. Those are like surfing brands. Stoli, like, is in the vodka? That can't be, but we're gonna click that in a second. Party City, that tracks. Other companies closing. It's called At Home. I'm not familiar with them. Kohl's, J.C. Penney, Dollar Tree. It's closing underperforming locations. Family Dollar, CVS, and Walgreens. So that's too bad. I mean, it's a lot of, I think, because let's see what Stoli is. Is this the vodka? No. It what? Stoli vodka. What brands? Maybe it's the Stoli group. Nope, that's still. But why? But the vodka place doesn't have. Vodka place doesn't have like its own stores. So let's go back to the businesses closing. That says beverage company. Chapter they filed for chapter 11. So that doesn't necessarily mean they're closing. It could just mean that they're like restructuring or something. But yeah. Then you said something else that I wanted to look at. Cindy says that she turns 65 at the end of the year. She's waiting on a husband to retire so we can move to a warmer climate. Yes, exactly. Oh, all right. Um, Online sellers have lower sales. This doesn't reflect in unemployment numbers. Yeah. Let's look at California's current unemployment rate. There's where it spiked in 2020, but it's not even as bad as it was in 2010, 2009 to 2011. It was above 10%. And right now, they're saying it's 5.4%. That's getting up there. Which state is number one in unemployment? What? That's in India. Okay. Let's see here. This was also from 2024. But I mean, I think this is going to talk about a lot of those things that I just was. So this is Cal Matters. This California. This is from a year ago. All right. So, and the numbers are the same, it's similar. So I'm going to read those. California's official unemployment rate, the percentage of jobless workers among the state's labor force, remained unchanged in September at 5.3%. But this is a year-old article. That doesn't sound alarming unless one dives more deeply into the data. For one thing, it means that slightly more than 1 million Californian adults who say they want to work can't find jobs. 64,100 more than a year prior. California's jobless rate is consistently among the highest in the nation. The rate is obviously affected not only by the number of those seeking work and not finding it, but the size of the labor force, which the federal government defines as those 16 years and older who are either working or looking for work. So that's another thing, is like, we're not necessarily having enough jobs to keep up with even people who are newly entering the workforce. The state's labor force participation rate hit a high of 68% of adults in 1990, but has dropped steadily since and is now below 63%. People are counted as employed if they are working for wages as little as 1 hour per week. That minimalist definition makes employment statistics appear more positive than reality warrants. Okay. Like, I also know people who they want as many hours as possible, but maybe they're only getting, like, maybe they were working 4-hour shifts or instead of 8-hour shifts. So this is only counting them as unemployed if they're not even working an hour. And yeah, that is almost 6%, which is pretty high. Richard says he was at CVS this morning and they told me they will be closing at the end of the year. It's too bad. People are buying more used on eBay. Yeah. And like places like Mercari and Poshmark and things like that. I do think people are going back to that. Richard also says that thrift stores are getting a lot more expensive, which I also agree with. This is probably when I was about 30. Oh no. Oh no. No, I don't want to read that comment, but I kind of do. We all are also getting near the end of the live. But anyway, um I dated a guy and he lived in like a small little mountain town where you did not even get cell phone reception. Well, he was living in LA, but his family was in a small mountain town where you didn't get reception. Which I didn't know before I went to go visit him, and I had like work to do, and I was like, "What do you mean my cell phone's not going to work?" But anyway, in his community, like every Tuesday or something like that, they did like any item for a quarter at the thrift store, and he would get all his clothes like that. Right, KT? Right. Um, but yeah. So anyway, I loved that. But yeah, thrift stores that like they're getting wise. I guess there's like a whole cheat code to like brands that you should put out on the floor. And I think that they just did like an online store. Hang on, let's see. Let's look at that. Salvation Army online. They're going online now. Online auction, online shopping, online bidding. Shop the Salvation Army. I feel like this. Okay, so that's interesting. Huh. US coins and currency lot, 17.8 pounds. That seems like a. This is so weird. We got a Michael Kors bag. We've got clothing and accessories. We've got handbags. We got jewelry and watches. We've got shoes and buy it now. Let's look at handbags. Jewelry lots. Let's look at jewelry lots. 10 karat gold stamped jewelry, 14 karat gold lot, 36 grams total, 5 rings. And it's going up to like $2,275. That seems like a lot, doesn't it? This seems a little crazy to me. I wouldn't pay that much for. Okay, maybe let's pick a picture. What do these people see in here? Okay, we got 5 rings, 36 grams, but that includes like the stones. That's it. Lot of 5 gold rings. Most rings are stamped 14 karat gold. And in wearable condition. 5 rings pre-owned. Most rings are stamped as 14 karat, but it doesn't say all of them. That's so crazy. No, the only thing tested is the gold. That seems weird. Like, that seems like a lot of money for those rings. Is anybody with me on that? Like, what is in here that's making people think that that's a good deal? I don't know. Anyway, okay, let's see, what else do we have? Let's look at the clothing brands, maybe. Clothes and accessories. But yeah, it used to be, okay, True Religion jeans. We got $30.99. Levi's jeans for $103. Is that for 12 pairs of jeans? Okay, that's under $10 each pair of jeans, so that's not too bad. We've got some jerseys here. Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban sweatshirt. A Lakers jersey. I feel like that's not a bad price for that. A new Express top. But yeah, it used to be like, if you went and you searched through the racks, that you could find, good deals in person at the thrift store. Okay, oops. Oh no. Sorry, you guys. With the pharmacies closing, is there someone trying to corner the prescription drug market? Okay. Dang it. I got to look at Mark Cuban's pharmacy really quick. Mark Cuban pharmacy. Cuban. Okay. It's called Cost Plus Drugs. So let's say that we're in the middle of the pandemic again, and we need medicine. And we've just lost our insurance because we don't have it. Now, first of all, if you lose your insurance, you do still need a doctor to write your prescription. My doctor is cool AF. When it was the pandemic and I lost my insurance, I take medicine for my high blood pressure, and she doubled the prescription. I ordered a pill cutter. Sorry, she didn't double the prescription, she doubled the dosage. So, like, I was taking 5 milligrams, she made the prescription for 10 milligrams. She did a 90-day prescription, which I think is the most you can do, but, I was able to cut it in half, and then you just get your medicine off of cost plus drugs. They don't do, um they don't do refrigerated medicine right now, but, like, my Amlodipine is like a pill, so they did that, and it's much, much, much cheaper. Like, I don't know what this is, but they're showing some of the things. So something now I don't know what yeah, I have no idea, like, what some of these are, but it shows the retail price, and then it shows, what they're selling it for. So, it's an online pharmacy, you do still need to have a prescription, but, like, it's a really good option for people that need certain medicines and they're not sure how to get them. They're much, much, much more affordable. I wouldn't mind working for them, but they're probably doing, like, an AI assistant also. Okay. Steve says, "I preferred, um, garage sales. You've been at 150 so far this year, and the prices are much cheaper than Goodwill." That's cool. I'm never up early enough, right? So, I always close at the theater Friday and Saturday. Maybe though, I have heard my mom used to sell at the swap meet, and when she was getting ready to, like, close up at the swap meet, she would always, like sometimes she just didn't wanna load the stuff back on the car, so sometimes she would put, like, a whole big box and be like, $1. That's what I need to do with the junk behind me, you guys. I am too old for Beanie Babies in my room, but I don't know, like, what I wanted to do with them. So, I need to just put them in a bin and be like, $5 because inflation. Um, but yeah, maybe that's the time to go is at the end when they're packing up. But they also say that to get the good stuff, you need to go early, and I'm never up early. And then I always just tell myself, "Oh, the good stuff's probably already gone." But, GoodRx is also, an affordable site. So on medicine. So yeah, and I think like places like Target and just like Amazon, I think a lot more people are just having their their groceries delivered, their toilet paper delivered, things like that. So you don't actually need stores because not that many people are actually going in. And Steve also says that he prefers garage sales. Oh, that's what Steve was saying, not Cindy. Richard is saying that their Salvation Army thrift store closed 6 years ago. Cindy says that she bought 3 dresses on eBay this week. They were long vintage summer dresses for 70, not for all 3 for all 3. Not sure what they would be new. Yeah. I am about to head out. I'm gonna read this last comment, and then I'm gonna head out for the day. Steve says, "My friend buys drugs from Canada because it's cheaper. They bought a 6-month supply. It will go up 35% due to tariffs." I'm sorry. Hopefully, they get all of that sorted out by the time your friend needs a bigger supply. But also, is he getting it flown in from Canada? Like, I know a lot of people, they do go down to Mexico for their prescription medicine. You still need a prescription from a doctor. I think you can either bring a prescription that you have, like, from your American doctor in Tijuana or in Mexico, or you can go to the doctor there and they will give you a prescription sometimes. Be careful with all that. I don't actually know anything about that. I just know it's possible. So is something like that available in Canada? And if you could they go to Canada? And that I've never been to Canada. Maybe I should go to Canada. Anyway, want to do some travel. Canada? I'll go get the medicines, bring it back. I'm pretty sure that's not legal. But could your friend could your friend go to Canada and get their medicine and bring it back without paying the tariffs? Or is that not legal either? That's probably like exactly what you're not supposed to do. Or you have to declare it when you bring it back, or do you just have to declare it if it's over a certain amount? I don't know. Either way, Cindy says, have a good holiday. Everybody, please, go out there, enjoy the weather. It is warm, at least here in California where I'm at. Happy Labor Day. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are a great day to go see a movie, and the AC always works nice and good at a movie theater. Guys, thank you so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I will see you next time, next Sunday at 11.